Most traders don't lose because they picked the wrong setup. They lose because they misunderstood what the market was doing when they took it. By now, you understand that the market is an auction. You understand equilibrium. You understand the ladder. 20%, 50%, 80%. Now comes the part that actually turns structure into decision-making. Because every auction, no matter the market, time frame, or session, only ever ends one of four ways. Not 50. Not infinite variations. 4. If you can correctly identify which outcome you're in, you immediately know whether to trade, manage, fade, or do nothing. That's what this episode is about. Outcome 1. Balanced auction, rotation. This is the default state of the market. Most of the time, nothing meaningful is happening. Price rotates around equilibrium. Buyers and sellers are both active. No side is urgent. This is where breakouts fail, trends stall, indicators contradict each other. Traders overtrade. Nothing is broken here. The market is simply doing business efficiently. If price is rotating and acceptance has not occurred at 20%, there is no directional edge. This is where Harmonia tells you to wait. Not because you're wrong, but because the auction hasn't decided anything yet. Rotation is not an opportunity problem. It's a patience problem. Outcome 2. Successful auction, continuation. A successful auction begins the moment acceptance occurs. Price moves away from equilibrium. Participants are willing to transact at worse prices. Pullbacks stop returning to value. This is not momentum. This is agreement. When an auction is successful, acceptance happens early, usually at 20%. Pullbacks are shallow. EQ is not reclaimed. Expansion follows structure, not emotion. This is where continuation trades make sense. Not because price is strong, but because the auction keeps working away from value. If acceptance fails, continuation is invalid. That's the rule. Outcome 3. Failed auction, rejection. This is the most misunderstood outcome, and the most powerful. A failed auction happens when price explores higher or lower, participation does not increase. Acceptance never occurs, price snaps back toward EQ. This is not manipulation. This is not a stop hunt. This is not smart money games. This is the auction saying, no one wants to do business here. Failed auctions create false breakouts, bull traps, bear traps, turtle soup setups. The failure itself is the signal. If price pushes into 50% or 80% without prior acceptance, the probability of failure increases dramatically. This is where fades become logical, not because price is high or low, but because the auction already failed. Outcome 4. Exhausted. Auction. An exhausted auction looks strong right before it breaks. Price has traveled deep into historical range. Participation becomes one-sided. Late traders chase. Professionals reduce risk. This is where trends slow, volatility spikes, reversals begin to form. Exhaustion is not a reversal signal by itself, but it is a warning. At 80% and beyond, continuation requires urgency, not agreement. If structure beneath price is weak, exhaustion often resolves into failure. If structure is strong, price may compress before one final push. Either way, this is not where you initiate new risk casually. Why most traders misread outcomes. Most traders try to trade patterns. But patterns don't tell you whether acceptance happened, whether continuation is still valid, whether failure already occurred. Two identical charts can represent completely different auctions. The difference isn't the candles, it's the outcome context. Harmonia doesn't label trades. It labels auction state. And once you know the state, the correct behavior becomes obvious. From outcomes to execution, up to this point, you've learned where balance lives, where intent appears, how probability shifts, how auctions resolve. Now we're ready to talk about where most traders still mess this up. Because even when they read the auction correctly, they ruin it with execution. In the next episode, we're going to cover the most common trades the market actually gives you, not fantasy setups, not perfect textbook patterns, but the ones that show up every single week if you know what to look for. This is where Harmonia stops being educational and starts becoming practical.